So, I've only ever had fentanyl inside of a hospital, which I think is got to be much different than what they sell on the street. I've often wondered what it is that they actually, like I've seen people do heroin. I've tried heroin myself, and for whatever reason, it just didn't have an effect on me. And I would use the same amount that the person there with me used, and I would get a warm blanket and nothing. So I really don't have a comprehension of what it is, but what it is that they feel, but they do just like nod off. It's like their consciousness is taken from them, and it's not like a falling asleep. It's like they're being vacated from their vessel. So this goes back to, I was just watching Nick Shirley and Sean Ryan talk about the fentanyl crisis and how they just like slump over and they're like zombies. I wrote a song about this called Identity Theft, and this is the ultimate goal, okay? It is my belief that a lot of people that succumb to their addiction and destroy themselves and they just get stuck in this, they don't want to feel, okay, there's an agreement that takes place spiritually here with all of these drugs that come from these cartels, okay? They do have people putting blood curses on these shipments. That's not a joke. I can't express that to you enough. There is a spiritual contract to go. Now think about how all these think about how all these, every like form of way of doing drugs, the way they are prepared, they end up in an oil type of form, and they're smoked in incense burners or they're intravenously injected, and these are forms of worship. These people have made this decision and they come into agreement with a spirit that is behind this substance. And on top of that, I really do think that you guys, 222 on the timestamp, should really do some research into the chemical properties of these drugs and see what kind of nanotech is inside them. I don't think that that's too far out of the realm of possibility to further assist their mind control agenda. Now, you're right, these people that have succumbed to their addiction were probably, they went through some traumatizing, or some went through hell several times or whatever, and then they gave up. They didn't want to hurt no more, they just didn't want to feel nothing. And that's kind of the agreement that they make with the spirit. I just don't want to think, I don't want to remember, I don't want to feel. I just want to wait for the end to come, and that's it. And they just become these zombie creatures, and that's a spell that you put on yourself, and then the way that you use it with the forms of worship that are actually drug use. This is pharmakia. Okay, and this extends into the rest of it also. So it's 3:33 on the timestamp. These people are generally good people that are out there, and they've just given up. They gave up their consciousness. And then you have people that go further. They start to embrace the depravity, and that, those are the kind. Anyway, I'm just going to stop right here, but I hope you see where I'm getting at, dude. There's a lot of mind control that goes on, and the spiritual war behind all of that is where the focus should be as far as trying to help these people, if there is any, you know what I mean? Like, their recovery should be a spiritual program, not a rehabilitation program. It shouldn't focus on the drug. It should focus on the spirituality and the shit that was hurting them before all that. You can't make it up, man. Spam calls, texts like a motherfucker just don't stop today. And that's a form of discouragement. They want me to get angry and give up and, blah, 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 whatever. But, there's a difference between people that genuinely have and listen to their conscience. You know, like that's God's voice speaking to you. Like, yes, don't do this. No, don't do that. And people that listen to God's voice, when they make mistakes, they genuinely have this thought in their mind, like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. And I'm sorry that I did that. You know what I mean? Like when we sin against our God, we're convicted, and then, you know, that admission of it, yeah, damn, I did that, God, and I should have done that. You know what I mean? These people have shut that part of their off, okay? And that is another agreement that takes place with violent drug addicts, okay? And, you know, like, that's a lot of what these gang members promote out there. Rape, pillage, and plunder is a term that I heard a lot when I was around groups of people like that. Okay, that's something that they promote. So there are all of these witchcraft type situations and dark black magic that is happening also with all of these lie casters, and there's just a lot of information and a lot of things all happening at once. And you know, it's easy to get discouraged, but that's a choice that you make before it's an emotion. So, you know, just don't choose it. See, be encouraged, you know, by prophecy being fulfilled, but also don't be complacent. Okay, complacency is a real killer. We want to keep on progressing in the kingdom of God and keep laying down the foundation. You know, despite our faults, we're not perfect and we don't get it always right. But as long as we're going in the right direction, that's the main thing, right? And, you know, President Trump's right. We are at a very pivotal moment here in the United States. And the error that we have made in the past is letting the deception continue to take place right in front of us. And that's what we're no longer willing to do. We're not willing to allow these lies to propagate until they manifest into our lives, until we're being robbed blind, like nobody's business. It's just like, and it's all really about to explode, how bad it really is. Like I said, Babylon, the whore of Babylon is being exposed, and she's going to be thrown under the bus. It hurt a lot of people, and everybody's tired of it.